Rise to the stage, Pilgrim. She's just warming up.
Oh, Brittany.
And who's that you came with who has a tie on it like your dress?
That's my boy. That's my man.
Yeah, who was that?
Cash.
Oh, gosh. Was that the first red carpet that I brought Cash to?
Oh, look at you. You're making cuckoo eyes at him. What's the deal?
He's the love of my life.
9 months and I declare that he's the love of my life? What the hell was I thinking? Oh my God. How skinny are those eyebrows though? Oh my God, that's really... Hi, I'm Jessica Alba and this is my ET retrospective.
I'm Mud.
This is my very first job called Camp Nowhere. I was so happy to get this job and I was 12 and I got my SAG card because I got 3 lines.
Jeez, Mud, how much you got in there?
And that was 30 years ago this year. This year marks the 30th anniversary of your acting debut.
Oh my God, that's really...
How crazy is that?
Oh my God, I can't believe it's been 30 years. Wow, that's horrible. Wow.
We just wanted to tell you guys that the elementary school called, and a huge mistake's been made. They want you back in the 5th grade, where you belong.
The Secret World of Alex Mack. I played a mean girl, which was ironic because I was mean girled. I got bullied so much as a kid in school. And so it was like wish fulfillment that I got to like play the bully because I was always the one getting bullied. I was so out of sorts as a kid and a teenager, and I was sort of the weird one in my family. I didn't really fit in with them the way, I was kind of very rebellious always. And then in school I didn't have a ton of friends. And so this was, on a set, I just feel like I was at least with people that were all kind of similar to me, you know? And I made more money than I could ever imagine. It was like life-changing, and I got to contribute to my family's household. If I could give myself, my 13-year-old self, any advice, what would it be? I wish I could not be as insecure as I was. I was so wildly insecure, but in a way, I guess I needed to go through that in order to come out the other side of it. Some of those days felt like, especially the teen years that were so hard, they felt like they would never end. But every time I was on a set, every time I got a job, I got like, it was like this light at the end of a tunnel.
Next, we're going to show you Never Been Kissed.
Hi, Kristen. It's Kirsten. I'm so not the popular girl. I'm such the nerd that like tucks my skirt and my underwear and like walks out at a restaurant.
Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. It's so weird to see myself in an interview because I remember wanting to, again, I was like mold, right? I was like putty and I was trying to find my way in the world. And it's weird to see just so many versions of little me trying to find my truth. And that haircut, that middle-aged haircut is just god-awful. I don't know what I was thinking. I definitely didn't look like Winona Ryder in Reality Bites, which is what I was going for. I remember it was such a big cast, like if we actually got a line that made it, that made it on screen and wasn't edited out, like that was the achievement. And we did so much ad-libbing because there were it was like one role that they then put into 3 girls. So we were all, I didn't realize until well into filming that I had to really fight for that screen time.
But you were in great company on this film with Drew Barrymore.
And she's such a champion. I mean, I think being on that set and seeing how she would champion women and how she was so supportive of her friends, but all of us, she really like gave us a platform and she shined her light on us. And that was something that when someone like her makes that impression on you, that doesn't leave you. So then for the rest of my career, that set the stage with how I think I operate, and what I always try to do is to help others and support others who are coming up. So she definitely had a huge impression on me.
Next is Dark Angel.
That was 11 months of training. I went through some pretty intensive, 3 hours a day, 5 days a week, weight training and running.
Wow.
I'm such a baby.
And I did this for 11 months, and I actually started training for the show before it was even written.
So people don't realize that I had kind of a lisp, and it feels more prominent there than it does now. I've been working on this for a long time. I think something happened when I had kids where like my voice, like I dropped into myself. Like I feel like my register deepened. How skinny are those eyebrows though? And the contrast of like that big mouth and those skinny eyebrows. Like what the heck? And those cheeks. It was so cold, so many nights. And just wearing, you know, jeans and a leather jacket and gloves if I was lucky on a motorcycle, and it's like ice rain, and they're like, well, you can't really see the rain, so we're just gonna keep going. And I'm like, but I'm frozen. Yeah, I had lots of tricks on how to like keep myself warm, but I remember just being so cold. If Jim wanted to do Dark Angel, I would do Dark Angel again, yeah. He really has been a mentor of mine, and it would just be fun to work with him because, you know, we have that history together, and I admire him so much. So I think it would be fun. That was probably where I got the bug to want to produce and want to have a seat at the table, for sure.
I'm glad you can make it. Come on, this isn't a pageant. Step in the back and fall in, all right?
Oh my gosh, honey. Oh, I did a lot. By the way, talk about training. I did a lot of training for this because I am not a trained dancer. And just to learn choreography and then to have to be the choreographer, I like really had to be comfortable. And it was quite intimidating.
5, 6, 7, 8. 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Elbows 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll just take it that far.
These kids are professional dancers, and I had to like, I was in charge. Oh, I remember this dress at the premiere. I couldn't sit in it. It was so tight, so I had to lay in the car, and then they like put me up, and then I went and I took it off because I believed like it was like hurting my ribs. What I did for fashion back then, and I remember being in like high heels and like I could barely walk.
Next up is gonna be Fantastic Four, and this is cool because you took us behind the scenes of your set.
Yes, and I even got an idea from this behind the scenes on ET to do this during the press tour, and I videotaped our press tour because I got an idea from this.
That's what I get to see when I open my door every day.
Oh my God, my dogs, Sid and Nancy.
Were your dogs like your children before your acting?
They were, oh, I used to bring them everywhere.
Do you still have dogs you bring everywhere?
I do not bring them anywhere because they're wild.
You always thought you were a god. Now back off.
Susan, let's not fight.
No, let's.
I loved those movies. I mean, I also like, I changed my life, that series. It's when I met my husband.
So has there ever been a discussion to bring back Sue Storm? There's clearly a deep love for it.
No one's talked to me about it, but I would jump at the chance. Yeah, it was such a, I loved that character. And I felt like she was so unique in the Marvel universe at the time. You know, there weren't a ton of female superheroes like her.
Skinny little Nancy Callahan. She grew up.
So this was Sin City, and I was really nervous.
As to the stage, Pilgrim, she's just warming up.
Oh, Brittany.
And who's that you came with who has a tie on it like your dress?
That's my boy. That's my man.
Yeah, who's that?
Cash.
Oh gosh. Was that the first red carpet that I brought Cash to?
Oh, look at you. You're making cuckoo eyes at him. What's the deal?
He's the love of my life.
Is he?
Yeah.
How long has he been the love of your life?
9 months.
9 months?
Yeah, and forever.
9 months, and I declare that he's the love of my life? What the hell was I thinking? Oh my God. Having someone who was not in entertainment at all, having to deal with so much of our life being kind of like in a fishbowl, And at the time, the tabloids were like on fire. And we didn't really have social media, so we couldn't control our own narrative. So we were so exposed to how journalists wanted to portray us. And you have to be a certain kind of person to be able to handle it, and he handled it really well, considering. I mean, most people in my shoes, you know, they can't handle it. More or less someone who was like, I didn't even want this, ask for this.
I didn't scream hard again. Not once. I didn't scream.
I know it, baby. You grew up strong.
For sure, I would say Nancy is one of the most iconic roles I've ever played.
And now Jessica is celebrating her 30 years in Hollywood with a new movie, her first film in 5 years. The 43-year-old mom of 3 is showing off her tough side in Netflix's Trigger Warning, streaming Friday. She plays a Special Forces commando who comes home to bury her father, but soon realizes his death was no accident.
This is about more than just my dad. I need to know the truth.
I want to do an action movie, but I really want the sort of feminine version of what it is to be in an action movie like this. I wanted it to be gritty, I wanted it to be raw, I wanted hand-to-hand combat. I would say the toughest people I know are women. We can juggle so many things, and we could also like create life and give birth and raise kids and do all the stuff. And I'm not trying to be a male fantasy. There's no like tight leather dress and stilettos with the gun.
See if there's a safe.
I was like, it'd be cool if she did passion kills, and you know, if someone needs to die, if they're bad guys, maybe with a knife instead of a gun. And there's something kind of more satisfying about watching that as well. And the drama, weirdly, coincidentally, I was going through grieving my grandfather, who was a father figure in my life. And it was a pretty cathartic experience because my character was going through grieving her father. So there was a lot of parallels. And I got to bring in a lot of family photos on the set and place them in the bar and in the home. I think you can't help but think of every aspect of yourself, and for me it is my girls and my son and my family and my friends, and thinking about them watching, you know, something I'm in. And my daughter, my oldest, is she loves to write, she loves to edit, she loves to direct. And so she's done a couple of short films already, and you know, it's neat to see her want to be behind the scenes, behind the camera, and telling stories. It's really cool.